Thank you. A huge turnout tonight at Duluth City Council as the public got a chance to address a new ordinance that would criminalize outdoor camping on city property.
Yeah, the proposal, which would make such camping worthy of a misdemeanor charge, is proven to be controversial. Northern News Now's Cara Kopp was at tonight's meeting and has tonight's recount.
Emotions ran high inside Duluth Council chambers Monday night.
Things are not as good as they could be. We all want solutions, and we all want safe solutions that are safe for everyone.
More than 60 community members, both housed and unhoused, speaking out, asking the council to vote against one of Mayor Roger Reinert's newly proposed public safety ordinances.
We cannot support the criminalization of people who are unhoused.
The ordinance in question would make camping on city property worthy of a misdemeanor charge, meaning people like those camping right outside of City Hall could be fined up to $1,000 or put in jail for 90 days. Many who stepped up to the podium Monday night saying the ordinance is unfair considering the current housing crisis.
Please don't punish those who are suffering because it isn't pleasant to see them suffer.
Others saying the ordinance lacks sympathy for everyone in the community. Some mentioning the resources available to those who are unhoused are already overwhelmed.
Chum has no beds available. Life House has no beds available. Safe House has no beds available. Union Gospel Mission has no beds. Another Door, no beds. CADT has 9 beds. You know who has the most beds in our system? The jail with 37.
People asking the council, which has not yet voted on the ordinance, to take their concerns into consideration.
The best way to keep our streets clear of encampments is to help the homeless.
In Duluth, Cara Kopp, Northern News Now.
In the 90 minutes of public testimony we were present for, no one spoke in favor of the proposed ordinance. Now, the council plans to vote on the matter at the end of the month. If approved, that ordinance would go into effect within 20 days. Now, on Thursday, join us for Northern News Now today in the morning. We're going to be joined by both Mayor Roger Reinert and Police Chief Mike Sanoa live. They're going to talk more about those controversial proposals.